Yeah. I always tell people like Britney Spears.
Nice. It's me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lucky Ones podcast. I'm your host, Lucky Wood, and I'm joined today by the awesome, the incredible, the Miss, not Britney Spears, y'all, but Alicia Spears. Welcome in. How you doing?
Good.
Good. She is gracing us from my birth state, actually. So I was
Nice.
um wait, are you Michigan or Indiana? I always forget.
Indiana.
Okay, yeah. So I was right. She is. I met her in Michigan. She's from Indiana. And yeah, that's actually I was born in Indianapolis. So
Oh,
hashtag
nice.
fun
Very
fact about
cool.
Lucky. So we already have a crazy, awesome bond connection of that Midwestern ness, the Midwest nice, the Midwest
Yeah.
con, the Midwest. We want to be your friend, and we will help you out no matter what. So
Yeah, pretty much.
until you get to the northern Midwest where they're fake nice. um,
Yeah, not that
not
here.
gonna talk about Minnesota. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're really excited to have you. I know that you've been pulling. I got to pull you right-handed at Michigan State, and y'all, let me tell you, I was not ready. I was not ready for the smoke. And it was a great experience. It was the largest women's class I've ever been a part of. And so how about you? Was that
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
For
So
sure.
we had 9 deep in right hand and I think 10 deep in left hand. Or if we lost one, it was we added one and I think maybe we lost one, but I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that. I think it was 9 deep for both, and then there was a swap out for the left hand. We ain't gonna talk about left hand, but that's okay. We can talk about your left hand. We can't talk about my left hand. And but yeah, no, it was a great event. We loved it. I loved meeting her. She was sitting chilling, and then she let me come up and bother her, and it was awesome. And I was really excited to meet her. And let me tell you, if you see her at an event, she is one of the most genuinely kind people I've ever encountered, and I absolutely just she was one of the ones that absolutely made the day, and so I'm really
Oh,
she decided to accept me as a friend and come on the show. So yeah, so let's dive right into it. Anything you want to say before we get going?
just thank you for inviting me. And like you said, that was the biggest tournament, but also it was really genuine. Like I befriended a couple of different girls that were there. And we just kind of comment back and forth on, social media, and I enjoy seeing all of your guys's, your journey and your posts and stuff. And so it feels very genuine. So I do appreciate that.
Awesome, very cool. So what got you into this amazing sport where we can meet these amazing people?
So originally, this was back in, I want to say, around 2014. A friend of ours had told us. So my husband actually, I have to kind of go back a little. He did some MMA cage fighting, and there in Florida when we lived in Florida, and he had met up with a guy that did kind of helped like with get him fights on the card and things like that. And then one day we were just hanging out, all of us, his wife, Josh, my husband, all of us, and he said, "Hey, have you guys ever arm wrestled?" And Josh was like a bar arm wrestler, like
Right, right.
and no real technique or anything, just kind of strength. And so he was like, "Oh yeah, I never lose, when we go to the bars." And so he's like, "Oh, you should try this out." So there was actually a tournament at Peggy's Corral down there in Florida, and they're like, "You guys should come." So we went and we just checked it out. And I remember like they had an arm wrestling table there, and like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go arm wrestle, they wanted to show us some techniques. And I was
Oh.
like, I'm never going to understand this. Like, what? And so we got up there and I arm wrestled another person, a lady that had never done it before either. And, the first time, so like being at your first time, you really have no idea,
No.
nothing. And, I remember I didn't touch her hand to the pad, but it went below the bar and they wouldn't call it. So I thought they would. from what I was explained. And then when I went to kind of let up, she pinned me, and they were like, "Yeah, she had that," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So that was like my first, and I was like, "Okay." And then, but then after that, I was like, "No, I really want to learn some more." And then through them, through our friends, they
Show
introduced
me
us
the
to more
rope so
people.
this doesn't happen
Yep.
again.
Yeah. And so through them, then we which his name is Anthony Laterio, which he does a lot, that he used to do a lot there in Florida too. We met a lot of the people that were in Florida then, and just cut it started from there.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you? I assume you know Beth Dukes, Casey Anter, Michelle.
I Go ahead.
I was gonna say Michelle Dugan, but then I meant Sarah Bachman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I have never actually got to meet Casey or Beth, but I'm
Oh,
friends with Beth on Facebook, and just I think when I started to come into the arm wrestling, they had been doing it for a long time, and they were, definitely at the top, and they kind of stepped back, probably, family, I'm sure, whatever it was. So I actually didn't get to meet any of them or pull them. I did meet Charity Messer, powerhouse, like beat me, of course. But I got to meet her, but yeah. So those girls I never actually got to meet still yet.
gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I haven't met them in person yet. I know Beth was at the Sarah Bachman Classic, and I was like, rude.
So that.
I love that for you,
Yeah,
but
I saw that she kind of came back a little bit.
yeah, exactly. So that was I was very happy for her to come back and show these people what she can do.
Yeah, she's one of the top ones. I mean, I remember everybody always saying too when I first started, until you go against these top girls in Florida like Casey and Beth and Charity, like you're, and but like I said, it just kind of, we crossed those paths at different times. So
Right. Exactly. No, I get it. There's a couple people here a couple of ladies here in Virginia that like last year was kind of like they were really really into it, and now they're like taking time, which I totally get, it's totally fine. And then it's just like me. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
for
like I have the twins. They're awesome, Ella and Emma. Shout out to Emma who joined the Air Force. So she just came back from boot camp. She's on little break right now, so I'm really excited for her. Can't wait to hear all about it. But anyway, yeah. So it's just one of those things where like it's so funny how like this can happen in seasons.
yeah,
And like and then sometimes you're like, dang it, when you missed out on the season. But with arm wrestling the way it's going, like I'm happy to be in this season because it's only gonna increase opportunities for like ladies. Events are like out the wazoo.
yeah,
We're
for
having
sure.
way more pay-per-views, we're having way more invitationals. Like it's just like this is a good time to be an arm wrestler.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
that being said, what's kind of your favorite thing so far about arm wrestling?
So I think in general, just I like, so my husband and I both do it together. And so my son is 13 and he actually has done a couple with me. I think that I like that it can be a family sport,
Right.
and it can be something you do individual or as a family. We have traveled quite a bit too. So that is always a plus. And then just the people in general, I think that I've met some really cool people, and like genuine people. So I think that those three things combined. And then I think too, I like the fact that I have something from, if I want it to be for myself, it can be.
Right.
I have something to look forward to, somebody to plan for. So, and like in the state of Indiana, no shade, but there's not much to do here, especially in the winter. So it gives you something, like we just moved back from Florida. We lived in Florida for about 13 years. So we just moved back
Okay.
from Florida in 2020.
That's a culture
So,
shock, homie.
I know. Well, I was born and raised here. I was born and
Right.
raised here till I was 18. But still, I mean, my adult life was in Florida.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
but yeah. But I think those are the things, honestly, that I like the most about it.
No. Oh, yeah. I think I would 100% agree, and a lot of people would agree with you that are things. I thought you
Yeah.
were going at 8 my time. I think I did tell you 8, boo, because I can't do math because I'm an English teacher. My bad. Hey, we going at 6 your time. Stephanie.
Oh, different time. Yeah,
Sorry,
time
she's
difference.
in the chat. I'm sorry, she's in the chat. On the YouTube has a live chat or whatnot, and
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
sometimes shout out to everybody in the chat. We got the Tall Paul, Crazy Uncle Jim, welcome in. Michael Nance moderating as he does every episode. We very much appreciate all your hard work for our podcast. And I think you met Mike at the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
This man broke his thumb. Dramatic.
No.
Right. And then I just sat down to eat my meal for episode 1. But don't eat fast. You got time, love. You got time. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong time. I didn't do it on purpose. I promise. Don't cancel me. I feel bad. So we talked a little bit. So I know you said there's not a lot to do in Indiana, which is fair. But when you're not arm wrestling, what else has really like got you interested? What's your Pinterest thing that you look up and like, how do I do this?
So I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschool my son. He's 13. We have a daughter. She turned 18 over the summer, and she moved out and everything. So now I'm down to him. But I'm a homebody. Like, I like to go out sometimes, but I'm typically at home. If you ask me like, well, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm at home chilling. But my husband and I, we love fishing though. We fish a lot. Every chance we get, we fish. Yeah, we have a fishing boat, so we do like to go out and go down the river and fish. And really, I like to read, but really, other than that, I'm pretty basic, pretty boring. So probably just find me at home.
There you go. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're paying for it, you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. You know, my son's into it too. So it can be like a just us thing or all three of us. So it's cool.
Right. So that's cool. I mean, we got so many connections. I was homeschooled all the way through kindergarten through 12th grade.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what's wrong with
I have homeschooled him since he went to kindergarten at our public school district down there in Florida for like 2 days, half days. But if you tell him half days, he's like, no, it was 2 full days, but it's half days. But it just wasn't the direction. I just,
it wasn't the vibe.
Yeah. No. Yep. Yeah. So he's been homeschooled since, and I mean, that's that in the school year that takes up a lot of my time planning and doing all that. So
for sure. Yeah, I homeschooled 2 little girls later too, and because I was a nanny for a little bit, and then they decided, they were like, man, we wish we could homeschool. And I was like, oh yeah, I was homeschooled. They were like, sweet, you're gonna homeschool our daughters.
Yeah. Wow. You're like, hang on.
It's actually like, and people make so many jokes about it. Like, oh, I bet you do downtime all the time, and I bet you do your school in your pajamas. Like, first of all, my mom set a rule: we were not allowed to wear pajamas at while we were doing school. We had to get dressed. That lasted like the first 2 weeks of school.
Oh yeah, and then she was like,
and then she's like, whatever. It is what it is.
As long as it's done, get your work done.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I really wanted to be a teacher, was I saw how much effort she put into her 5 kids' education and making sure that it was individualized and we understood. And when I would tell my peers about my school experience, like, they'd be like, our teacher don't care. And so, yeah. And their kids talking, I'm not saying like all teachers never cared or anything like that.
Right.
I know my middle schoolers, and I know what comes out of their mouth, about 5% of it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably true. But I just decided, like, I was like, man, if I can, take what she's taught me of how to really apply this in the classroom, then I can give some public school kids a taste of what it's like to have that private school or homeschool vibe.
Yeah.
So,
and you kind of know both sides of it now, so that's definitely helpful for either way.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny because I'll hang out with my homeschool friends or whatever, and they'll be trashing public school, and I'll be like, well, actually, in fact, And then my public school people, we talking about homeschooling. Well, actually,
Yeah, yeah.
like that bridging of the gaps.
The best of both worlds there a little bit.
Exactly. One we got Drew in the chat. Lucky I can set the lives to have 30 minutes to be sent out. Ooh, that would be legit, the Drew. I'd really appreciate it if you would do that for us. And yes, I can spell math. Michael Nance said she can spell math but not apply it.
I cannot do math hardly at all. So everybody asks me, well, what are you going to do when your son I'm like, well, he's got a dad for a reason. And his dad's good at math. So if I can't, he can help explain it.
Right, right. We had it's funny
all my
because before online school, we had DVDs. And we started out with the VHSs from Bob Jones. And then they upgraded to the DVDs in my high school year.
Okay, fancy.
If it was like, if you need help, we'll ask somebody at the church. So, yeah. So that might be why I a little rough in the math department when it comes to the 9th, 11th, and 12th. But my parents were very bright people, and I'm sure if I'd asked for help, but I didn't want to ask for help because what student wants to ask for help? So
right.
That's on me. But no, my mom did a phenomenal job with it, and my dad too. He was as involved with it as my mom was, really, making sure everything was done. Sorry, typo. You can set it 9. Bruh. Okay, I'll figure that out. I gotta figure that out. So, what does training look like for you? So do you, I know you said your son is Poland, your husband's Poland, you're Poland. Do you guys work out together or y'all work out separately? What's that look like for you guys?
So we had a gym membership to a local gym, and it actually just ended not too long ago. And my husband ended up doing kind of like a home gym in the garage. He has a cable machine, some free weights. He's, all kinds of stuff. And because, no matter what, he was like, we're doing this no matter what. So right. We do that, and we'll go out there, like if we want to go out after dinner or if we have a weekend free, we'll go out, whatever. And then we also have a table, an arm wrestling table. He ordered one. Nice. He ordered one last year sometime when we actually got back into the sport. We took quite a bit of a break, but when we got back into it, he ordered one because he's like, if we're doing it, we're going to, because it's hard. There's not many people around here to practice with or pull with. So we do sometimes, like we've gone to Michigan a few times. There's a group of guys that pulls there. So we do go up there. It's about maybe 45 minutes. But if we can't, it's nice because we have us just kind of back and forth to work on. So that's pretty much what it looks like. Yeah, for me.
So love that.
Yeah.
I have a table that I just got from West Virginia. The lady was selling it for a certain amount, and I was like, hey, would you come down to this? Because I saw she already reduced it. She was like, this needs to go tomorrow or it's going to the dump. And I was like, oh gosh, no. So then, like, I bet I could lowball this. And she was like, yes, come get it. And I was like,
nice.
So I literally got it like 3 days after my birthday. And it's like the best birthday present ever because I literally got it for double digits. And it's a nice.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So
that was meant to be
out of the house. She said her mother-in-law had got it for her husband, and he just interested in it or whatever. And I was like, how are you not interested? Best thing
I'll take it.
Right. And then I was like, you should have hopped on it and gotten into it. Females.
Yeah, that's nice for sure.
So, speaking of females, and it doesn't have to be a female, it could be anybody. But I like to ask people like, who do they look up to in the sport? Because I'm always looking for inspiration. Our viewers are looking for inspiration. This is a good time to like shout out certain people. I tend to talk about the same ladies on the show. No, unless I have like guests and stuff, I'll obviously brag on y'all and stuff. But I'm sure they're sick of hearing about people who inspire me. So I added in that question because I was like, yeah, we need to broaden this a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought about that too, and I think the question too maybe was, do I have a favorite polar, or like you said, somebody I look up to? And so one of the people that I like to watch, Brandon Morris. He's also a really good friend of ours. He's um, very animated, but he is also like, he loves the sport. He has passion for the sport, and he's taught me and my husband both a lot of things. And on the outside of arm wrestling, we're all friends, which is nice.
Right.
And he's always promoted the ladies like as best as he could. He's always tried. Like, I remember we had all talked one day about just there not being, when I was in Florida, I would show up and I would travel to these, events, and there was never women to pull. And, he'd be like, well, I'm trying for you. Or, he would just kind of reassure me that, hey, just don't give up because it's going to happen. So I really do like watching him pull. Like I said, he's a pretty animated kind of guy. He gets up there, he's passionate about it. But I also thought about that question too. And I really think I look up to any of these women out here that get up there, because I know for me, I'm a nervous wreck before these matches. Like I am. I feel like I'm gonna puke. I'm so nervous. I thought it would go away, and it just doesn't. So I'm just like, you know what? If I feel like this, maybe others do. But any of you guys, any of these women that get out there and they show up, they train, they are in a predominantly male sport. Yes, there's classes for women, obviously, but I commend you guys. I look up to you guys, and like the ones that I met was you and Shauna and Sarah and Paige, and there's a couple others, and I unfortunately can't remember their names, but you guys were all, just super sweet, super genuine, like willing to, you know what I'm saying? Like if like some of you guys were like, hey, let's pull. Unfortunately, I couldn't. My arms were done, but like you guys are willing to do that, and so just all of you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And I'm sure
Yeah,
they
for sure.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I got to hang out with Shauna today up at West Virginia state champion. She and Christina Casto, who also does the show with us, had a super match today, and it was phenomenal to see those two. And then it was fun too because I realized, like, I'd seen Shauna back in June, but we never pulled. We didn't pull each other in June. So I got to pull her wife Brittany, which was awesome. And
Very
then
cool.
like Bethany, I pulled you, I pulled Paige, and all right-handed. It was awesome, but I didn't realize I hadn't been on the table with either Casto or Shauna, and it was just it was really fun to have the three of us back. You know, Shauna and I have a special thing, a special bond because of the invitational that both of us did together. And
Yeah.
of course, Castro was there, and she was just like coaching everybody and being the legend and sharing on, you need to do this, you need to do this. After she would pin you, then she'd tell you how to beat like the other girl. She's like, I'm not going to tell you how to beat me, but I'm going to tell you how to beat everybody else in the room. And yeah, but I mean, it was a really special day to share with the two of them. And then I was super excited because, we had the podcast tonight with you, and I was just like, I gotta get home. So I was like,
I know, and I'm messaging you and I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous.
oh, you're doing great. This is great. I love it. I love it. So, but yeah, but that's I have just really grown to love, especially the female side of the sport, for that reason of like the genuine people who are really out there, putting in the work, putting in the grinds, growing the sport. Stephanie Spencer pulled somebody new today at the UAL and immediately invited her to her gym to start working out. And like
Wow.
that's what it's all about. It's just
Sure.
like, hey, cool, we're not that far apart. Let's do it.
Right.
Marshall, welcome in. How you doing, buddy? All right, so what has been the best promotion that you've been able to be a part of? I know we talked about Michigan State, but I don't want to assume that was it. But
so honestly, and we've done some of the Europas down there in Florida at the convention center in Orlando. And I mean, that's always a big event without the arm wrestling. It's a massive like fitness, health and wellness type, like it's huge convention. There's all different types of like competitions, like wrestling, cheerleading, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So that was always ran pretty well. And I actually had flown out to California to pull gosh, this has been like back in, I don't know, 2015 maybe. And I got flown out there to pull, and I went against Brandy Stark, and yeah, she got me too. But she was so awesome. And Lisa, is it Lisa Bullock?
I'm not sure of that one.
Wolfley, maybe Lisa Wolfley. And I can't. There was another one, but
we're calling a friend. He'll know.
I can't remember. I think it's Lisa Wolfley. I could be wrong. But they were two bigger names out there too, and so that was it was a nice promotion. It was fun. Just being able to actually be flown out there was nice as well, and you know, felt special. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say those two probably.
That's awesome. How long had you been in the sport when that happened?
Maybe a year. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could not remember the exact year that I started, but I know we went at it pretty hard for a good solid 2 years. I mean, hitting every tournament that we possibly could. We went to Georgia, we went to Kentucky, you know, like I said, we went to California. We had gone all over the state of Florida to, you know, just, I mean, my husband pulled, but he also was like, you know, all these tournaments you're winning. I actually hadn't been beat until and again, I am a very humble person. I do not brag on myself. And but I
hey had guys, she kicked butt until this next event. She never got beat.
But I had gone against Sarah Bachman. Okay, she came to one as a guest, and of course I knew, just like without a shadow of a doubt, right. I had nothing for her. She flashed me both times, you know, just completely like, okay. But and that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. Right. But it took her pretty much, you know, to stop me at that point. And then when I went to California, Brandy Stark beat me. Which again, she's a total baddie. So right. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? If it took up till then and all these women, I'm okay with that.
Exactly. That's very impressive. That's something you should be very, very proud of. And you know, I have my loss to Bachman at the Invitational right hand. It was just like
yeah.
Like, you're the queen.
Yep.
So
she's actually
you know, I think all of us were just kind of like kind of looking to Jocelyn at that time. It was like, hey babe, like it was like calling your sibling in to fight for you. Like you know, you start something, you're like, hey, come finish this for me. And so which I mean, to be fair, Jocelyn did a phenomenal job, and they went to the strap and she pulled off that win, and you know, wow. that was a crazy moment in arm wrestling history for sure. But I'd love to see him run it back too, and you know, obviously that hasn't slowed down Sarah at all.
Right. She's actually gonna be, so I don't remember what I sent you the flyer because I can't remember exactly what it's called, but she's gonna be here. She's hosting or co-hosting a tournament. It's an Arnold's qualifier here in Elkhart, where my hometown. And that's September 28th. And so she'll be, you know, I'm sure she'll be pulling. So, and my husband's like, oh, well, you know, you get to have your redemption. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, I mean, I'm going to try, but, you know,
more of a running it back. It's not necessarily a redemption.
Exactly. I'm just going to face up with her again.
Right.
But yeah. So I'll get to see her after. I mean, it's been years since I've, you know, seen her or, you know, pulled with her that day. So.
Right. Yeah, no, she's absolutely. And then I just absolutely loved everything that she and Gabby were doing in Florida. All their trainings, all their lives, all their Insta stories. Like I've never stalked somebody so bad. I will own it. Lucky was stalking Sarah because I just was looking it up. We've had Gabby on the show a few weeks back or a couple months back, and you know, we were just like on the edge of our chair like, give us more. Yeah. And Sarah's the same way. Just her knowledge of the sport is just incredible, and you can't help but just admire everything when it comes to Sarah Bachman and arm wrestling. There is nothing that makes you go, huh? It's all just, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
for sure.
But yeah, no, I think that event will be really, really fun. Competitive. I know you invited me, and I don't want to commit to it.
Right.
But it's definitely on my. I already missed one Sarah Bachman event. Do I really want to miss another?
Right. How far is it from you? How far is Indiana from you?
Kind of far.
I thought so.
Yeah, and so it's a little bit of a drive, but
yeah.
My entire birth family's over there, and they keep begging me to come to Indiana and pull so they can all come out to the tournaments and stuff. But I was like, but if I drive in the night before, I'm not going to be any good at the table, and do I really want them to see me not be 100%? And then if Alicia's there and Sarah's there, like I just might be in the stands going.
I mean, it would be pretty cool if you came. Just saying. But I know how it is. I know, like traveling, and like you said, you're tired from traveling, and I get it.
Right. And now I just sound like I'm making excuses already, and now I have to show up.
I mean, I want you to, but I think everybody pretty much understands. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're probably at least over 9 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ways.
Yeah, that's a ways. What's up, Miss Spencer?
Made it on.
Woo! Left hand champion in the house.
Oh man, but Camille
and Bill, we're still mad she ain't getting no belt for it. Just throwing that out
there. I know. The Fit Expo always takes it out of you.
Alisha, Stephanie.
Hi.
I can't believe I haven't got to meet you yet. Have you been traveling at all around, like California at all?
Back in 2015.
Before I started.
I did one out there in California, but other than that, a majority of my arm wrestling has been in Florida.
That's cool. I only went out there for Worlds, and man, it was so hot. Florida is not my favorite place. Like the humidity and everything. Maybe I should go visit in the winter.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer in the winter.
Yeah,
for heat purposes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We were just asking some of our questions and all that jazz, and we are to the Jessie question, because one that came up with this, so we always call it the Jessie. She's a permanent she's a permanent fixture in our podcast now. So if anybody wants to send in questions, and I will add them to the list and name them after you. But where do you see yourself, or where do you see arm wrestling going in the next 5 to 10 years?
So to be honest, this is a good example. So, how I brought up my son earlier with him being 13, he has shown an interest. He's wanted to pull, he's wanted to learn. And so it's important that we've taught him the correct way. But every event that I go to that is family friendly, which most of them are, I see these little kids. And I mean, even at the Michigan State one, the whole first hour was little kids. And so I think in the next 5 to 10 years, those kids are going to be, if not our age, but in their 20s, they're going to be adults, and they're probably, if their family sticks with it, I mean, they're probably going to stick with it as well. And I feel like that generation is going to, arm wrestling was before me, during me, it's going to be after me. And I feel like that's just something that's always going to be around. I feel like that's something that's always going to be passed down. And, I mean, even if it's just my one child that wants to learn, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just from my family, now I'll take a family of, with 5 kids, 4 kids, and they all want to learn. Right. The next generation, I feel like it's going to keep it going. The way that things are going with the women, I feel like same thing. I mean, there's quite a few younger girl pullers in the kids class. And so, and it's not just in Michigan, it's all over, when you see these these kids cheering for their parents or their sibling or whatever. So I do think that I think that it's going to just progress and it's going to continue. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And what's going to be nice about it too is the like Bia started when she was 7 years old, and now look at her. So all these younger kids who are being able to really get their technique and build their tendons and build their bones and learn the right way to do it. Our next generation is going to be even more talented than our current.
Yeah.
Of all us old people who started when we were 33.
Well, my daughter says that she loves to do the arm wrestling, but she hates waiting around. And I think that's a part of that generation of all the kids wanting everything right now, being on social media, playing video games, like the way that just like the energy of the next generation is. So they're going to have to learn patience along with everything else. I think one of the things of the younger kids, honestly, which when I think about it, oh man, my daughter's going to be the next generation. And I'm like, oh wait, does she have the patience to stick through it? Even if she's stuck at the tournament with me, kids are pulling, but if they pull, she gets up there and gives it her all. But if it wasn't for me, would she still want to do it?
Yeah.
And I want to be there to inspire them, and it makes me feel good that I am, and that they're having a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I get so bored at tournaments. That's why I go and make friends. I get bored after I pull at tournaments, because then you're dropping off that high.
Yeah.
Up until I pull, I'm like a nervous wet wreck. I'm not bored at all. I'm like, stomach, stop growling. Body, you don't need to pee. Please don't throw up on the stage. How many women are in the class? And then after I'm like, okay, can we go home now?
Yeah.
So I get it. I feel her pain. So if that's the projection, which is awesome. What's something that with that projection you would like to see change in arm wrestling, or see happen in female arm wrestling?
So for me, probably like most of the women, the change to just be, which they are already kind of starting to make changes, like you said, in Florida, they're doing a lot of the trainings and a lot more for the women. There's always going to be dudes that want to arm wrestle, probably. So, but just, I think that for me, it would just be more of, gatherings of the females. But like more of those camps like that, spreading more knowledge, like that Sarah has. And I can't remember what you said the other lady's name was, but just going in with her and, passing that on to the next person so that they can pass it on, to the next person. I think just us ladies rooting for ourselves more and including ourselves more, and, getting together more on that note, because it's extremely helpful. So, yeah.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I wish there were more opportunities for almost all female practices to happen, and almost do 10 spread out where it's within a 5-hour drive for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Central location or whatever, and maybe even just one person organize all of them, so they know it's happening at this time at this place with these people, and then you can drive and make it work. And I think we're a few years away from that, just because we all are so spread out. But it's not possible.
So. Yeah, for sure, I agree.
Stephanie needs some people to practice with. She feels our pain about wanting to practice with women.
I know. I'm just waiting for the skinny Asian guys to come on the first of the month every month, and they're starting to get stronger than me. So what am I going to do now? They get stronger and they get technique so fast. It's like I need
Stephanie. That's your fault. You're improving them.
But they're always really fun. They're so fun. The guys are actually really fun, especially the new guys. And I always want them to have fun, because that's who have fun with everybody who's there, and then maybe get their girlfriend to come. That's it always feels like that,
Yeah.
like the girlfriend or the wife is not as many people just come to pole because like the ladies don't just, oh yeah, I want to arm wrestle. Like they have to be introduced to it somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I was at North versus South, there were several new ladies there. And that was when I realized that I'm not good at teaching. And so I just had my son come out because he's very technical in life. And he was so good at showing them rules, setup, top roll. Like he really took the time. And then it helped so much because yeah, I'm not a teacher. It can try to get you to go on the table and let you hit me as a million times if you want, but the teaching part is don't learn that from me. If you want to learn how to lift weights, I can show you that. But the arm wrestling, I feel like you're gonna have to tell me a million times, and I'm gonna try it a million times, and I'm still not gonna get it. But that's when you have that mentality that you want to go, ready, go a million times. Like that's when you're gonna eventually get better. And I don't know. I hope to help inspire some of the new girls to keep coming back. Like you would hate to have a new girl come and then she just doesn't want to come anymore because it just seemed way too hard.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes I feel like that's what I thought for myself. Like I felt when I started like, oh, I'm already strong. This is gonna be easy. And then you get a big fat surprise. Because it's so much work.
For real. I mean, and that's what's funny is I was telling somebody at the thing, they were like, man, I just want to see somebody who's like 125 and go and flash somebody. And I was like, go to Georgia, go to the next match where you hear Candy Passmore's name or Scarlett Yarg or Scarlett Rose Jade's name. Candy Passmore, Scarlett Jade. They will walk up to the table and it doesn't matter your size, they probably will flash you. So
wow.
But I mean, that's my point though, is like it doesn't matter like the size sometimes. It doesn't matter. It's all about like the strength and the technique and everything. And so I think that's what puts off so many people about arm wrestling is like, well, I'm not, they see some girls and they immediately get intimidated and it's just like, nah, babe, you just gotta learn how to do it. You can take her down. She ain't got a hand. Put her in a hook. Take her wrist. Top roller. You're good. You got this. But, I think everybody just, especially females get just really nervous about getting hurt, which valid, but also like when you dedicate into it and get around people that can teach you how to do it properly, it's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, what has been your favorite match that you've gotten to pull?
So let's see. I would say my husband and I actually we tried our hand at throwing a tournament there in Florida a couple years ago, and Charity Messer came and she beat me because she's really good, and her daughter Cheyenne, and she was at the time one of the ones that even like you said, does not matter size or age. This girl, I mean, strong technique on point. We actually went to straps, and so she really, really gave me a run for my money. I did. I think I did end up beating her on that one, but I mean, I couldn't believe it. I think she was like maybe 17 at the time, 16 maybe, and I could not believe the strength from her. But her mom grew up doing arm wrestling and things, so of course, she picked that up and she did it too. But I think that would be one of them. And the other one would probably be when I went against Sarah Wilson there at Michigan State. I mean, girl, I was like, what? I would like to group up with her, not necessarily in a competitive part again, because I already know she's gonna beat me, but I'd like to practice with her. Like I would like to group up with her and get some pointers, and because I mean, just the way she walks up to the table, she gets her, I was like, yeah, I already knew. But probably those two.
Nice. No, I absolutely loved yours and Sarah's match at the Michigan State, and I mean, you both own that table, and I'm sure it was just like, oh, what's gonna happen? Because I really didn't know. I'd seen Sarah be super dominant. I'd seen you be super dominant, and I was like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So, but
wow, that was
I love stuff like that. Sorry.
Yeah. It was a match. I mean, I could just feel her strength, and I felt like I was walking towards her, like, to get a grip the entire time. She did. She dominated the entire table on that. And I was just like, yeah, I can't move her. And she also told me, she was like, when we went left-handed, she's like, you have a lot more power in your left than your right. And I've never thought that. I feel like, and I'm a left-handed person. I'm left-handed. But I've always thought that my right is the dominant and strong. And I probably still feel that way to this day. But she was just like, no. She's like, your left is. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. So I was like, I would like to, she lives in Canada, right? Yeah. So I don't know when I'll get to see her again, but I'd like to pull with her practice wise, even just to, get some pointers and some tips.
Right. I know Ryan Epstein's doing something in Canada, and I know he's like really asking her to be a part of that, but I know she's very interested in doing Lorraine's thing in Tennessee too. So
okay,
you can come to Tennessee. You can be lucky there, because I'll definitely be at that one.
Yeah. When is it?
So it's the Great American Bash that he's doing. It's the 32-man per each class, and then like women, we're just hoping to get as many women as possible. But it's cash payouts for the top 4 women.
Okay.
I think it's $100 buy-in, and you can do 2 arms but 1 class.
And when? What's the date?
Sorry, December 7th.
Okay.
So, yeah,
that's possibly doable.
December 7th and 8th. I'll send you the Facebook stuff.
Okay.
So I put it a couple places and trying to kind of, because when I talked to him on Jody's podcast, he said he really did not have a lot of women signing up right now. And so
can we just win the lottery and then we'll pay for everybody, because that's what needs to happen. Then we'll just all be there.
We can have the same cash payouts as the men, because
I know. Yeah.
Well, and that's and I just wish I wish that was like, I understand how hard it is for women to get places, but things like Greg Sharp's event, where he's paying us out, but it's a fraction of what he's paying the men, and they're and for us it's 1 through 3, and for the men it's 1 through 8. But the event that I was at had the most women, and it was only 4. And Stephanie, I think you're the only woman in San Diego. Is that true?
No, I had someone to pull.
You had somebody to pull? Okay. Yay, cool.
So there was 2 of us.
So there was 2.
And then Leah was there with she had only 1 arm to pull. So the lighter weight class.
Right. And New Jersey had no women show up. And so like you can't really fault Greg for saying like, I'm gonna give you guys literally what you put into it, but at the same time, like, it's just like, why can't we have the same nice things that the men get? So I don't know, it's one of those things where it's a vicious cycle of like chickens hatching eggs that have no yolks. All right, what do you hope to achieve in the future as far as getting a pin on Sarah Wilson and or taking down Sarah Bachman?
I don't know.
You heard it here first, people. She calling out Bachman. No, just playing.
No, do not do me that way. I will probably, I'm sure, have to pull against her at the event that she hosts here, in September. But like I said, when I started, I was like super hardcore with it, and I did get discouraged a lot because there just wasn't a lot of female arm wrestlers at the time there in Florida that were actively pulling. And so I went super hardcore for about 2 years, and then I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm traveling, I'm spending all this money, it's not, what I'm wanting to do right now. And then my son got real big into motocross racing, which he still does. And so we were like, you know what, we're just gonna take a step back. So we did. And then I just recently came back. Here they have like, like the state fairs. And so 2 years ago I pulled there just for fun. I pulled there. And then my first real tournament back was the one in Michigan State. So I feel like it's, for me, I feel like because I do see a lot more women, coming into sport now, and I feel like I will probably, for my future, I'll probably stick with it a lot longer this time, I think, and just kind of keep training. But I don't really have right now. I don't have anything like, oh, I have to pull this person or I want to match this person. Not just yet. With me just coming back, I got to give myself that time to continue training.
Yeah, no, I respect that for sure. So I posted in the announcements, you took silver and bronze at Michigan State, which was awesome. Silver, right, and then bronze. Is that right? Silver.
Girl, I don't even. I can't remember. I'll have to look at the picture. Yeah, something like that. I took first and second. Okay. Or wait, was it first?
I think Sarah was first.
Okay, so I got second. Yeah, second and what, third?
I think so. Because Shauna came. Did Shauna get silver?
I can't remember. I didn't get first for sure. Sarah took first.
Paige got silver for where you got bronze, and then Shauna got bronze for where you got silver.
Yeah. So second and third.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait, I know I didn't get first. I knew I didn't get first. I don't know why I said that. I was getting ahead of myself.
You're fun. Hey, obviously we established before there's a lot of firsts in your closet, so it's totally okay. But what has been something else, like some of your favorite things that you've won or that you've walked away and been like, I cannot believe I won this. Yes.
Oh man. I have never really had that. No. Okay, so we went to Georgia and we actually did a team, and every team had to have a female arm wrestler. And the trophy, for the team, it was like massive. It was like, I don't know, like 3 tiers. It was tall. And all the guys, I was the only girl on my team, and all the guys were like, you know what, you're the only female, you should have this trophy. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? Really? So I was really excited about that. And so I think that one was another cool trophy. I really don't think anything beats the gorillas, to be honest, that I have. No, I have a lot of plaques, a lot of medals. I have a couple other trophies. I also have had some cash payouts, but not anything. It was never anything. I want to say like maybe $100, not anything major. But truthfully, the gorillas was a pretty cool thing to win. Like, I told my husband, I was like, I'm getting a gorilla. Like, I'm getting a gorilla. And then, of course, him and Brandon are walking out holding these. Did you hold one of those?
I have a tendency to get jealous and steal things. So I didn't touch it.
Those things were so heavy. Like, you should have seen me when I was trying to get that picture that you shared, and I'm trying to hold these things. I'm like, okay, take the picture because it's heavy. And
yeah, Paige was struggling with hers a little bit when I saw the picture too.
And so Brandon and Josh were carrying out the gorillas, and I was like, make sure everyone knows those are mine. Like, I'm taking the gorillas home. But I think those are actually the coolest thing.
First time at Michigan State, then? Okay, so those are your first 2 gorillas.
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, girl.
I just assumed that you had been there before and had won some before. But
no, not to that one. We moved back from Florida in 2020, and like I said, I did one competition at the fair. I actually did get paid money at the fair. I forgot about that. I think it was $30. And I was like, oh well, this will pay for whatever else, but yeah, the gorillas were pretty cool.
Definitely. I'm coming for one next year.
You're gonna get one. You'll get one for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna delay Danielle's flight and then tell Sarah that she has been banned from the U.S. and then
oh my god,
drive to Indiana and slash your tires, and then like you'll get one.
I mean, you're training, and you know what I'm saying. Like, you got one. You'll get one.
I appreciate you, Stephanie. How much money have you? If you want to answer this again, what's your highest cash payout that you've ever gotten?
I don't remember. I think wait, the last time I got money was I got $100 for the most exciting match of the day.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Camille's here. Do you feel like saying hi, Camille? Here.
Hello.
Hey. Camille, Alisha, Camille.
Hi. Hey.
They went to the UAL Fit Expo today.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Camille took first right hand. Congratulations.
Oh, good job. That's awesome.
Take it easy on me. 80% is something else.
Oh man.
Show off your cool shirt.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
That is really cool.
Anything that's free is cool.
Yeah.
Free.
I need to talk to the Ion people because I did like their little commercial break things and I ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh my God, we all did it today, even Xana.
Yeah.
Aww.
And I was saying, and keep your eye on Woodland Hills and keep your eye on San Diego. And I'm like, I'm not even from California. How many more do you want me to say? They're like, I don't know more cities. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep saying all these random cities.
I bet it was awesome. I bet they'll use yours.
Well, I don't know.
No, Camille already has one on YouTube.
Oh, she does?
Camille's on YouTube. I saw Caleb's on there.
That's so disrespectful. Where's Lucky? That's awesome. I'm happy for you, girl. That's so cool.
Thank you.
I have to go look it up.
Nighttime routine. So, peace out.
Enjoy your night.
Okay, headphones back.
You taking care of her?
Oh, I have to go out and do some DoorDash. This is Anaheim, and there's Disneyland, and all the tourists tip. But when all of the people from Disneyland have gone to bed, if you're still out door dashing, you get the locals. And let me tell you, the stories are endless of the tweakers and crazy people that you're delivering to. And this is the prime time right now. Like, I should be out on the road delivering McDonald's. I'm trying to be I love to make it there on the skin of my teeth, and not even without Camille I wouldn't make it, because like, you're on a budget forever and ever, and you know that you have to make the sacrifice to go do something that you would really love to do. Like, imagine if I was like, oh, I'm only gonna pull one arm today because I had to spend the $40 on something else. Well, no, I'm gonna have to go out and make that $40 so I can do it, because it was totally worth it.
Yeah. That's how it be for us, man. That's how it be.
I know. It's so true. But if I ever go to that tournament with the gorillas and I win one, I will save it for you guys, because it's not my favorite trophy. So I promise you guys get how.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite trophy? The belts?
My favorite one is the one I got from Worlds. It's really cool. It's more like an oval.
Oh, that's Walt. Never mind. That's WAL. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it was Denise's Worlds.
Oh, it was. Is it like?
It's like a oval, yeah. It's pretty cool. I have.
Is it clear or like?
No, it's regular. I have a vintage.
Picture tomorrow. I want to see it. Please.
I have a vintage vanity in my room. Like, you'd sit down and do your makeup with the cool mirrors. And I just barely wear makeup anymore. So it's just become the place to hang all of my medals. And it's stacked. Both sides of it is stacked. But I do think that Joseph Drellick did a tournament. I think it was Minnesota. Is that where he's from? and he did handmade ones. They were made out of wood, and then he used the wood burning thing to put the thing in the words on it. And that's one of my more like distinctive, cool ones, like that one and the world's one. But sometimes you think that the one that means the most is the one you worked the hardest for. And I felt like I worked really hard for this last strongman third place that I got. And it was such a generic trophy that matched all the other grinder gym sports ones that I have, that the only way you can tell it from the others is that it was third place. So that was, yeah, I worked the hardest for that one. It's tough. But like, if there's only 3 girls pulling, you're always going to get a medal, which is why we need more ladies. Lucky, where did you go? She left us.
Uh-oh.
Something happened.
Probably.
What happened to you?
Apparently TV was on, but I didn't hear the TV part. I just heard the yelling part, and so I thought something was wrong in the other room. But everything good. But I was like, I'm gonna check on that real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you awards. You're talking about awards.
I know. Yeah, the wooden one, the world's one, but I just have so many. There's so many.
I love you so much.
No, it's because I've just done so many different things.
Lot, Stephanie? Have you won so much? You just have so many awards.
Let's put them. Okay, I think we should put them all on and then see how much they weigh. So
have you seen my picture from Nationals where I got like literally 12?
Oh my God, I know. Well, but I feel like it's for over the years, like for everything. Like I did powerlifting, I did all these different strength contests and strict curl. Like I did a whole bunch of different things. It wasn't just, oh, I'm like this arm wrestling person. Like, and all of last year, Dave did one contest per month. And if no girl showed up, then
right.
but it was super fun. That like arm lifting, grip strength, and trap bar deadlift. Like he would just create fun stuff for us to go do. So I'm not saying, oh, I'm so awesome, I have like a whole bunch, but it's like there's just so many.
Say it. I let Alisha brag on herself. You can brag on yourself.
Yeah. Get it.
Okay, the kids are calling from the pool. I have to go get them.
All right.
You guys are so fun. Thanks for having me on in when you already started.
I'm sorry I told you the wrong time. I promise it wasn't intentional.
Okay, bye.
Bye. It was good meeting you.
Bye.
All right. So your next event is going to be in your hometown, which is going to be awesome. Home court advantage. And then do you have anything planned for the fall? Other than that stuff?
As of right now, I'm not entirely sure. So there's actually in Newaygo, Michigan, this coming up weekend, there's a tournament. And I may go to that one. I'm not entirely sure. They are doing like a team type thing as well. And I think they might have to have a female. So I may try to go to that one. It's up in the air, but if I don't do that one, for sure, the one in September. And then just kind of after that, I guess just seeing kind of what falls and what happens, like what tournaments there are going to be. Because I'd probably be for sure hitting a couple of them up, showing up.
Come to the VAL next weekend.
I saw that there's like quite a few, like, really close together, within a couple of weeks. So
yeah, for real. I know the Arnold qualifiers, they're having one next week with the VAL. There's one up in New York. There's one in New Jersey on the 7th that Ryan Groden's doing. There's the one in September, and then like boom, November 9th is ours in Virginia. The VAL. Okay. So I'm like, well, sweet. If I don't get one next Saturday, I can try again November 9th.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be a solid event. So if you're in the DMV area or northern and you don't want to go to New York or New Jersey, head on down to Virginia and hang out with Lucky because she will be at the BAL attrition. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I know Maddie Walker confirmed, so she will be there. So I'm really excited to pull her again, and then hopefully some other Virginia natives will show up. And I know the men's classes, woo, stacked.
Stacked, yeah, I'm sure.
Michigan State stacked.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
So they're estimating anywhere from 140 to 240 entries. So which is decent for us over here in Virginia.
That's a lot still. I mean, to any tournament, really, that's a lot.
Exactly. And I mean, and that's an estimate. Like we could have 100 more show up. We're just like, oh, we decided to come.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I think the last two things, like everybody pretty much, we all knew each other, and like it's one of those things where you can pick out the brackets down to the last 2, 3, 4 guys. You know,
Yeah.
you know, we all know each other. You all practice together. You all been in tournaments together. You know what's going on, and so I think this last one back in May was they kind of shook it up a little bit. We had some people come in from out of state that really, they're like, hang on a second. This isn't our usual roster.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that just means you're growing. So that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Always.
Very cool. So if you're good, I don't know if we're just gonna skip 13 because we already talked about that, and I don't want to put you on the spot or anything.
You can if you want. I'm pretty comfortable now, so you can ask whichever.
So, is there anyone in particular you're interested in grouping up with? I know you mentioned Sarah in a non-competitive way, which is awesome, and so it can totally be non-competitive or like, oh, I would really like another go now that I've grown as an arm wrestler.
I'd like to definitely go against Paige again. And I think she's in Michigan area too. So that is, I could run into her if I go next weekend, or if she comes to this one. That's for, I think that, so I fouled out on both of I think I fouled out on, me and her went right. I fouled out because I lifted my elbow twice. And so like, I kind of screwed myself on that one. So I would definitely have to go against her again for sure. Just to she impressed me too. She was, strong. She had good technique. She's not new, but fairly new, right? It's like a couple of years new, or
I think 5 or 6 years.
Is it? Okay. I wasn't actually sure how long. I couldn't remember how.
Yeah, I know you didn't classify her as new necessarily. She definitely has some, knowledge at this point. And pointers. So, but not 30 years in like Casto.
Right. I think I'd like to go against her again. Just, I think for me to redeem myself, fouling myself out wasn't in the plan. And then not saying I wouldn't go against anybody else in a competitive way. I just, until I could get some more training, I think, to go against Sarah Wilson again. And I know we stated like Sarah Bachman's probably going to be at that tournament that's here in Elkhart. I know people say, don't do that to yourself. It's bad going into something and, just already being down on yourself. To me personally, I just still don't think I have anything for her. I mean, I've watched her, and but that's just me. Maybe I'll surprise myself, but, so, some people are like, oh, you don't want to go against her again. I'm like, no, she already beat me. Like, I don't. But
you're talking about Sarah Bachman, like everybody's going to be understanding. They're like,
yeah. Exactly.
I felt the hand. I felt the arm. I get it. I get it. If she's there and I end up pulling and I'm just like, no, Sarah.
I'll sit on the sidelines.
Go girl. Girl power. Awesome. So, I think this is gonna be really cool coming from you, being somebody who got into it. You were really, really into it for a while, and then you took a break, and which is solid, and then you came back in. So you have a different perspective than a lot of people I've had on the show. Having taken that time off and now getting back into it again. And obviously, you haven't lost much in that little break because you're doing very, very well, and you're pulling very well, and you have that what and so what would be something that you would advise somebody who's just getting in the sport or less than a year into the sport?
So for one, the biggest thing too for me would be training with the right people and with people that know what they're doing. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, accidents can happen even to some of the better pullers, more experienced, but make sure when you're seeking out to get into the sport and you're training with people that they are steering in the right direction and they know what they're doing technique wise. That's important because you could also go into a tournament as a new person and, if you're not training with the right people or people that maybe think that their way is better or whatever, and you could just be completely like stunned, like you had no idea that was going to come, that's the first thing. And I think the other thing too is, remember I was saying how I stopped for a while because I got very discouraged because there wasn't a lot of women. I felt like I was wasting my time. I was wasting money. I was getting excited to go to these pools and then there wouldn't be, anybody there for me. I would say, I'm going to do this for myself. Don't let that discourage you because it will come, but also don't make it so much a chore. Make sure it's your passion. Make sure it's something you really want to do, even if you can only do it part-time or, here and there. Just make sure, you know what I mean? Like have fun with it. Don't make it yes, it's competition and that's great, but don't be discouraged. Don't get down on yourself if things don't go the way that you want them to, right away, and just have fun with it. Learn all that you can and train with the right people and the correct way so that you're, safe. But I think that would be my biggest thing. And then I sit here and say, just don't be scared, go after it. But then here I am texting you, I'm so nervous about the podcast. But yeah, I think that'd be my advice.
No, that's great advice. And I love the advice piece because generally it's either something I've dealt with that week or something I'm like close to having to deal with, and then I'm like, oh yeah, because sometimes I go back and watch these hashtag. Sometimes I don't because I don't like the sound of my own voice. But the advice piece, like I'm starting to collect those from all of my people. And just saving those clips and things because it's so important. And sometimes it's stuff that you've heard a million times and they're like, I'm sorry, it's so generic. And I was like, no, this is stuff that people need to be reminded of because we forget it's okay to take breaks. We forget it's okay to take care of ourselves. We forget it's okay to not answer a text right away, because we're so socially forced to do those things because that's what's socially acceptable. And I love the people who fight against those norms of like, no, if you don't want to go to the tournament, don't go to the tournament.
Yeah.
Or in my case this week it was I don't want to go to the tournament. We don't give a crap, you're coming. And I was like, okay. And it was the best decision of my life. Not of my life. It was the best decision of my week to go and surround myself with just the positivity, the happiness, and not have to be in an element that I really, really like without having the stress of the actual tournament part and competing and going to win,
Right. It was fun. You got to make it fun. Yeah. I feel like when I go to these tournaments and I train and I go to the tournaments, like you said, the first half, I am like so uptight, almost like, just don't even talk to me because I'm just such in a zone of where I'm ready to go. I'm nervous. Like, is this going to pay off? And like you said, I'm looking around the room and I'm like, oh, that girl looks buff and she looks like, and I amp myself up. And then it's like the mornings of, I can't even eat. Like, last time for Michigan State, my husband Brandon had came because he pulled and he stayed with us. And my husband made like this big elaborate dinner or breakfast. He did like pancakes, steak, eggs, all of it, and I was like, oh man. But like I just could not eat. My stomach was jumbled. I felt like I was gonna puke. And I was like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, why are you in a sport where you're acting like this, But then it's like the second half when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get my award and I'm ready to go. Like, I need some food or something, and to just be able to breathe. But yeah, so you kind of lose track sometimes if you're not careful. It competing and getting in that world of competition where you're like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? You know what I mean? Like I said, don't make it a chore, make it fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So have fun.
I think today was really one of the first times where I really got to do that because I had no stress of the competition at all. I was just like, cool, I'm gonna come in and hang out with my friends. I'm gonna warm them up. I'm gonna do some practicing and I'm ready to bounce. And then I was just able to enjoy, and I was able to laugh at everybody else who was freaking out about their matches. You're like, why are you nervous? There's nothing to be nervous about. Knowing
exactly.
I'm going to be 10 times worse next week.
Yep.
So
that's how it is.
Don't worry. Karma's going to get lucky. It's okay. Just again, I really, really, really appreciate you agreeing to come on the show. And I have just thoroughly enjoyed, spending time with you, getting to know you. Like you already had a fan in me, but I'm really glad that, I love hearing people's backgrounds because it helps me appreciate where they're going, so much.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then, just the knowledge too and the advice. It was great. You did a phenomenal job, friend.
Thanks. Thank you for inviting me. I definitely felt a lot better, being able to prep a little bit. And then I felt a lot more comfortable as, the first couple questions, I felt a lot more comfortable. So I appreciate you dealing with me being anxious. And, but yeah, I think it was fun and I appreciate you inviting me on. It's really neat.
Of course.
You got a really cool podcast.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been a really fun project and I've really enjoyed it. So,
nice.
If you want to pop off, you totally can. I got a couple housekeeping things I'm going to go over, but if you want to stay and hang out,
I'll probably say my goodbyes. I got to get, my dogs are still whining. So, but again, I really appreciate you having me on and, we'll see you at the next tournament that we can get together at.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. Bye, girl.
All right. Bye.
All right, folks. It's just you and me. Lucky confessionals. I don't like the porterhouse steak. No, but for real, next week is a awesome week, so I hope you come back and join us. It'll be Saturday at 10. It'll be not right after, but after the VAL. And so I'm super excited. Right now we're looking at multiple guests that are going to come. And that's all the hint I'm going to give you. And even though, actually I'm going to give you some more hints. Even though we are females in arm wrestling, we're going to share the screens next week. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I wanted to recap Casto's event. She did West Virginia State Arm Wrestling Championship. Solid event. She does it. She is a one-woman show, and she refs. She has a person on bracket. She down refs. Billy Collins was the head ref. I don't know why I forgot that word. But we are stop laughing at me, Mike. But no, it was a great event. She made me this shirt So I absolutely loved it. I'm very, very happy and honored to be her friend and to be somebody in her circle. And so to her and Shauna today, I just really, really appreciate you guys being solid friends. And so thank you for your coaching, your mentoring. Thank you for letting me help warm you up. Thank you for letting me trash talk Casto before her super match. Hopefully she'll be on next week. She can talk a little bit about that. But I'm very, very, very proud of Shauna. Both ladies were absolutely phenomenal. The match did not go how I saw it, honestly, because it was a great match. And I think people who complain about women's arm wrestling not being entertaining, y'all need to go watch those two matches, because I mean, and that's what was fun about it, was they were cool. They were joking around before. I was helping both of them warm up. They got to the table and they were ready for the other person to lose, and they fought for that other person to lose. And then at the end, you can check out the Lucky Ones podcast Facebook page for just like the most beautiful moment afterwards that happened. Later in the week, I'll post another post regarding that specific event, or that specific match as well. But kudos to Casto. She did a really, really good event. I will not call it West Virginia for at least 1 week. And that's my pledge to her. And just because she made me the shirt. That's the only reason. If I didn't get a free shirt, it would still be West Virginia. But because she gave me a free shirt, I will call it West Virginia for a week. And yeah, so good job, Casto. I'm starting to get tired, and I don't want to ramble and say something that I'm going to regret, even though that might help with the views. But thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet and you want to, make sure you sign up for Lorraine's event. Make sure you get into an Arnold qualifier. If you have a super match that you're really, really wanting with a local girl, please, please, please hit me up. We still have spots open for the On the Rise event that is now taken up a level. We're going to be looking for sponsors for that, because I have some pretty cool ideas for that. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Peace out, homies.